We are continuing our study of angles. We are going to this time include a method of proportioning or comparative measuring. There are a number of methods for that. This is one. It is a tool. It's not perfect, but it is a very helpful tool that's good to learn. I have here a grid with equal boxes of equal size, and this grid here is in red so that you can tell the difference between the grid and the chairs. We will be working in graphite to start off with, colored pencil later. I'm going to be working in vine charcoal, which I have sharpened, so that you can see what I'm doing. If I work in graphite, it's very light and you can't see, but you will be working in graphite. The first thing I'm going to do is put a grid on my page that is 6 inches wide and 3 inches tall. If you have a ruler, you may use that. If you don't, and very often when we want to draw, we don't have a ruler on hand, I'm going to use this dollar bill, which is 6 inches wide. So I will use that for my measurement. So you can use either a ruler or, as I said, if you have a dollar bill, or actually any denomination of American currency is the same size. And I am putting my lines in dark enough so that you can see them. Again, you will need to do yours lightly because we might erase the guides. And I've already made a little boo-boo here because this measurement is not 3 inches. I will have to fold the bill and have to get my accurate 3 inches. So I'm folding it and turning on its side to get an accurate 3. And then I'll just use this edge as a straight edge. Then to get my grid, just to practice eyeballing measurements, I'm going to divide it in half, and then in half again, that half in half, and then this other half in half. Again, I'm just eyeballing this, and then I'm just going to check it. Those each should be 1.5 inches, and if this is 3, then I can fold it again, and these should be equal. They are close enough, so I'm going to go with this. But if I had more time, I would erase these and put them in exactly. But I won't do this. I won't do that right now. And then to get my half measurement here, I'm going to again use the folded bill to get my 1.5 inches. And then whoops, little whopper jaw there. Vine charcoal is very easy to erase. That's why I'm using it. Graphite is easy to erase as well if you use it with a light touch. So this grid you want to be very light in case you want to get rid of it later. Now, so that you can see, I'm going to proceed and draw, and as you can see, I only need to deal with one square and the shapes in each square, so that reduces the chaos of drawing a little bit. How's my cameraman doing? How are your arms? Oh, great. I am going to work a little bit larger, but you will continue to work on this 6x3 grid. But so that my audience can see a little bit better as I draw, I'm going to use this. I have another I had a bunch of these sharpened lined up, and so I am going to start with this chair and copy the angles of these legs and the seat and so forth in that one square. So I'm assessing not only the direction of each angle, but also where it is placed inside that square. And I can guarantee that I will make little mistakes as I go along, so I am revising as I see discrepancies in my drawing. Because if I don't get them pretty close, the legs will not match up, and then it will not look like a chair, and that will annoy me. I think that point is about there, so I'm going to aim for that. And then it disappears into that corner, continues here. That's a little bit lower. I'm assessing that this point is a little bit lower than that one. So I'm checking angles of the drawn things as well as using a plumb line effect to help me figure out where the legs end and so forth. This is a skill, so, and it's one that is learned, and so it's not going to come out perfect, but it will be a good exercise, and it will likely have some semblance of a chair. If I were doing this on my own, as is my interest in drawing, I would want each leg and each angle to be as accurate to my resource material as possible, and I would stop, whoops, I missed a rung there. I would stop and evaluate and figure out what isn't quite right, and I would redraw it. That's a personal preference. It's always, I always learn when I do that, and so it's never wasted energy. I know that rung is hiding behind that very thick guideline, so I'm just going to put it in. So this is, as I said, I can see little discrepancies, but it's pretty close to looking like a chair. And then I would just continue on and do each one. Now, once the chairs are drawn, that may be all that you have time for, maybe all that you're interested in doing. You may really enjoy getting into matching those angles and images and so forth. But there are other things we could do with this once they are drawn. Or if you just want to draw one chair or just two chairs, that's a possibility. I had some fun with some color here. I used the computer just for speed's sake, but if I had the time I would have used colored pencil. But here I just put in a little background to simulate a room, and I colored the chairs and just chose a bunch of different colors that were pleasing to me. So that was kind of fun. Then I used the guidelines as a design feature, and I colored in the in-between spaces. I colored in the chairs black. Could do that with a black pencil or with a black marker. And then I colored in the in-between spaces in whatever pleasing way my eye was guiding me. Here I did the same thing, but I took out some of the guidelines, and it makes a kind of a different look. The other possibility is to create a little scene. Here I imagined that these chairs were on a deck and there was a sunset. And I did do this in colored pencil. I put in the colored sky first and went right over the graphite drawing of the chairs, and then I filled in the black because I could still see the graphite lines. So that's another direction that we could go. And as I said, the drawings, if getting them perfect and perfectly matched to the reference material is not to your liking or frustrating, it doesn't really matter. If you have difficulty with holding your hand still, or you have eye-hand coordination problems, Whatever those shapes are, you can figure out some fun way to go with them. And if they get distorted to the point where they don't even look like chairs, that's okay too, because they're such interesting shapes in and of themselves.